What's happening, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful and spectacularly awesome day. So, if you noticed, I'm in a different setting because a couple days ago I was abducted by aliens from Independence Day, and right before those motherfuckers eat me, this guy right here flew into the spaceship, just teared those motherfuckers up, and brought me back to this wonderful planet called Earth. Victor, how you doing?
Really great. So today we're going to be doing the top 9 X-Men movies in each of our opinions, and we're just gonna kind of just jump right into it. And we both did see Logan too. We're gonna be doing a spoiler review of that one on my channel, and this is gonna be posted on Hito's channel. Yep. Make sure to down in the description, we'll leave all sorts of links down there for you guys. So all right, let's start out.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot. Baby.
For me, it has to be X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yep.
That is
same.
That is the worst one. And there was I think it was like the point in the movie where when he jumps off the car and flies up at the helicopter, that was like the most cartoony part of that movie, and I was like, Wolverine does a bunch of stuff, like he stabs and does all sorts of things, but like for me, I was like, okay, I guess we've gone out of the realm of reality.
Yeah.
In the movie, but then from there on, it's just a big cluster, basically a clusterfuck.
You know the stupidest part of that whole making Deadpool thing is? Sabretooth basically needs DNA of all these mutants, right?
Right.
DNA is in everything. Like, it's in our saliva, it's in our blood, it's in basically everything in our body. And Sabretooth, kills tons of mutants. It's like, dude, just ask for their fucking blood and just... See ya, peace out, I just needed your blood, you're good.
Hey, listen, I was gonna kill you, but can you just give me a hair sample and I won't kill you?
Yeah, exactly.
That's just fine.
That's just fine,
There you go.
Yeah.
So, thus, number 9, X-Men Origins Wolverine deserves the worst.
Yep.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
Number 8 for me, and I don't know... this was hard putting this at number 8, was actually X-Men Apocalypse.
Really?
For me, it was. Okay. I watched the X-Men cartoon, and I remember Apocalypse from there, and Apocalypse really, the way he would talk, he would be very prophetic, he'd just be like...
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
He would just, almost like in my other review, I said Shakespearean. He just had a very eloquent way of talking, but he was a fighter. That guy, he went hardcore. And in this movie, it was the same guy actually from Ex Machina. He's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But he just kept saying the same things over and over, and that's what I didn't like. It was okay, I get it, you're trying to take over the world. That's wonderful. And then you had, Magneto's whole, he had a family and all that stuff, and him crying in the woods. I was like, I didn't buy into all the heart of the story ever.
Okay.
I just really didn't get into it, and then at the end, they keep trying to do the damn Dark Phoenix saga, and stop it. If they're gonna do it, just do it in a separate movie, separate thing with Jean Grey and stuff like that. And that was the most irritating part of it. It just seemed like all these little different storylines, and it never came together for me. How about you?
Number 8 for me is X-Men The Last Stand.
I think there are some really interesting things in it. I like the Cure storyline and the whole discussion and moral dilemma regarding this issue. I think the action sequences are a lot of fun, the acting is pretty good, and it's not a poorly made film.
For me, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a great movie, but I guess overall it's a very disappointing film, so it's my number 8.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
Number 7 for me was The Last Stand.
Oh,
that one, I put it up a little bit above Apocalypse because I liked that it was I liked all the action. I mean, after towards the end of it, I realized that they just kind of didn't know what they were doing. There was so many parts with the movie. I enjoyed all the action, and like you said, the part where they were trying to become more human, and the same thing happened with Mystique. Mystique.
Right, that was a really tragic moment.
Yeah, and that's what I liked, and it had that little emotional thing. I love going to the X movies with the action and stuff, but there's always that little underlying emotional thing that all the X-Men movies have. With Logan and the Days of Future Past, everything was that's what I look for.
Number 7 for me is The Wolverine. I would admit it's a entertaining film. It has some really cool action sequences. The whole thing on that bullet train, I thought that was really cool, even though you can tell that it was all green screen and just everything. But it was cool, like, you know, Hugh Jackman just flying into that fucking Yakuza guy and just stabbing him. I thought that was cool, and it has some really cool action sequences. I just didn't like the story. And for me, like, being Japanese, like, I just noticed a lot of things, just the cultural things to me. I didn't think it portrayed it well. And I also didn't like the third act. I thought it became just way too cartoonish. The Silver Samurai, just a giant robot. It's like, oh, great.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
Number 6 for me is actually the Wolverine.
Okay.
I enjoyed the first part of the movie. I liked how I liked the story. I liked that he went to Japan. There was a point, you know, like, I thought that he was going to do more hardcore training because Wolverine's actually a really good fighter. But the thing is that's one part that disappointed me, but I like the story, again, like you said, up until that ending point. Yep. That ending point to where, you know, like, and it just fell apart at that point. It was decent, but again, you have a character who needs a strong supporting cast, and in the movie, like, it started to go that way and then slowly trickled off into not being that. But again, when we compare this to, you know, the Origins, still better.
One thing I kind of admire about that ending is the fact that they basically pulled out adamantium from Wolverine. Just at the end of that movie, it's just he only has this bone claws, and first time I saw it, I was like, oh really? Like, just bone claws, no adamantium, great. But then I thought about it. It's kind of a ballsy move. Just go into that place. It just, you know what? We're gonna take out adamantium, just everything that makes this character so great. Just and I think that's pretty ambitious.
Yeah, I think it is too. All right, your number 6.
Right, number 6 for me is X-Men. The first one. It's been a while since I saw that movie. I think it's like 5 years, and I just completely forgot what that movie was about. So I rewatched it, and it's good. It's entertaining. The thing about the first one, I thought it didn't stand the test of time. Like, the action sequences felt very outdated. The way it was edited, it felt like Batman and Robin and Blade trying to meet in the middle, and it didn't quite mesh well. One of the problems that I noticed from rewatching it is that there's no character development. Just nothing. We don't really learn anything about these people. We just learn about their mutations and their powers and their names. But we don't really get the sense of who these people are. Like, I thought the whole romance between Jean and Wolverine, it didn't work for me. It felt so forced. It felt like Wolverine was just trying to flirt and Jean wasn't having it. It's like, dude, I have a boyfriend. Like, stop saying those shit. Like, that's how I felt about these characters. Also, the whole Magneto's motive for that movie, remember that?
Oh yeah, that's typical Hollywood.
Yeah, let's turn everyone into mutants. It reminded me of that final act from The Amazing Spider-Man. Lizard trying to make everything turn into Lizard.
Oh yeah. Wow, they ripped that off from
I know.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
5 for me was actually the X-Men movie, the first one. I'm
surprised that we're kind of on the same page.
Yeah, I think we're about one off from each other a little bit.
It's kind of interesting.
We
didn't rehearse this.
No,
by the way.
This is unrehearsed because we're professionals.
Yeah, we're professionals. But yeah, number 5, X-Men. Why?
Well, for me, I enjoyed the characters. I guess when I look back on it, since it was like back in 2000, I had it'd be weird. I wish I could go watch that with my younger self at that point and just watch my reactions to it. Now that I look at it, there is so many things that I wish they could have done with it. Like, there have been so many more storylines, and like, there's the one point in the movie where the senator who's turned into the mutant, like, he just he disappears.
Turns into water. Just
he's gone, and they vaguely reference him, and I'm like, what was he supposed to be? Like, there's just the plot point just like ends there. But at the time I enjoyed it because I was finally seeing all of my favorites up on screen, and the one disappointing part of the movie and the rest of the movies even after that was Cyclops. Cyclops, to me, just he never had the right attitude. Like him and Wolverine, the first one, like they had those back and forths. It's like,
Hey, it's me.
Prove it.
You're a dick.
Okay.
that was good. They had a good back and forth, but the character development, like you said, like you didn't know really that much about Cyclops. You really didn't know that much. The action sequences as well, all dated. I look back on that. I look at the the Statue of Liberty fight scene. I'm like, that wasn't the great. Number 5 is.
So my number 5 is X-Men Apocalypse. I know it's I admit it's not a great movie. And in some ways, it's kind of similar to X-Men: The Last Stand. It has some good things going for it, but there's other bad shit kind of stopping that movie from becoming great. But I just thought it was really good fun. I thought the final battle sequences were fucking awesome. I loved the whole just showdown between Apocalypse versus X-Men. I thought that was fucking just awesome. It was fun.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
Number 4 is X2. Yep. I enjoyed that because in any sequel for any movie, like they always, despite Transformers, you have it work like this, is that you need to put in a little bit more. You have to, up the ante for the movie a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I feel that they did that without going overboard and just being able to have everybody, like come together in that particular movie. And like, I remember seeing that and I was like, this is one of the best sequels that I've seen for X2. And the reason I put that over the X movies, because X2, even though it was made, when was that? That was like what?
2003.
2003. Yep. That one stood a better test of time in its action sequences, because I think at that point Singer was
compared to the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It had everything. Everything was so much better. I enjoyed it, and that's what I really wanted. Like, for me, I hate being so, like, picky on some of the X-Men movies, because you have to realize sometimes, like, not everything is going to be fired off correctly. Mm-hmm. All right, so what was your number 4?
X2.
X2?
Yeah, I like that movie. I think that opening action set piece in the White House, Nightcrawler just jumping and just boosh. It's still great. I enjoyed the hell out of that movie.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
My number 3 is X-Men First Class.
Okay.
I really enjoyed First Class. I enjoyed how they, how they went back and they looked at all that stuff. They looked at everything. One of my favorite characters was Kevin Bacon's character.
Oh yeah, he was great.
I loved his scenes. I loved the part where when he hits the ground, and that whole whoosh. It was so cool. But that whole movie from beginning to end, it was a good story, and it kind of had that apocalyptic kind of like, oh, okay, now we're gonna let all these, we're gonna try to destroy everything type of thing. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed it. I thought everybody did a great job. All the action set pieces were really good. But in general, the movie, it worked for me. It worked for me on a lot of different levels. There were just a few small things, but I figured that it was a good point in which, like they were trying to, reinvent a little bit in the series, and trying to give a little bit more of a fresh perspective. I love the Wolverine cameo.
Excuse me, I'm Eric Lensher.
Sounds Xavier.
Go fuck yourself.
Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is Deadpool. I like that movie. I know.
Really?
Yep,
3 is Deadpool.
Yep. 3. I saw that movie, I think, twice in theaters. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it's one of the funniest superhero movies I've ever seen, and I thought Ryan Reynolds just was fantastic. Yeah, I liked the story. I liked the fact that it just makes fun of all the superhero movies, not just X-Men movies. It's just superhero movies in general. Just pointing out the cliches and the whole superhero landing. I thought it was great. Action was fantastic. I thought the characters I just loved Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I couldn't think of any other person who could pull it off like that.
Yeah, anybody that they ever suggested for it, I was like, no. You're not paying attention to what people want, and we want Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
What is your number 2?
My number 2 is Deadpool. And I had thought about putting it as my number 1. But Deadpool, for me, it's one of those movies where it's so hard. Like, you get done seeing it and you're so excited that you just saw a great movie because it satisfied like all sorts of little parts. It satisfied a little bit with the emotional, comedy, action, and everything. In general, like all the action sequences were really good. I think even when they redid that first the highway scene from the leaked trailer, that was amazing.
Great scene.
And it had everything that I wanted. Deadpool for me is my number 2. And now what's yours?
My number 2, X-Men First Class. I love that movie. I think it's very stylish. I love the way that movie looks. It's gorgeous. Just fucking gorgeous. The production design, I love the costumes, I love the visual effects. Core of that movie is the characters. It's about the characters, and we get to learn, like we get to know about these people, and this movie has the best character development like in all X-Men movies, for me at least. I just, for 2 hours we get to spend time with these people, and we know, what not just their superpowers, but them as people.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
My number 1 is Days of Future Past.
Me too.
And it is, for me, of all the emotional aspects in the X-Men movies, of all the stuff that we get to go see and we learn about the characters and everything, the reason that one was number 1 for me was because of during the Sentinel fight when people died. When people died, I cared. For whatever reason, out of all the other X-Men movies, when somebody would die or get injured or whatever, it was like slightly attached. But in that one, even when Storm died, or when any like the other minor X-Men characters that we didn't really get to know, even when they died, it was done in such a I don't almost want to say artistic way, but it was done in a very emotional, and like you felt all that, and it gave so much more context to all the story and all the characters and everybody. It was just like at that moment that was like the pinnacle of the writing. That was for me for Days of Future Past is when everything came together and you finally understood why everybody was kind of the way that they were, and that's what I really enjoyed. All the set pieces were amazing. To me, the best X-Men movies that I can watch, and I know 10 years from now it's going to stand the test of time. How about you?
I agree, just completely. That movie is not only a great superhero movie, but it's just a great movie in general. I love the message of the movie. The whole thing is about like violence doesn't solve anything. I thought that was a really positive message.
Right.
And thank you so much for watching, guys, and make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and leave some comments down below, just anything you can talk about with your favorite X-Men movies or your favorite sexual position, just whatever you feel like, man. And once again, thank you for letting me use your studio, Victor.
You're welcome.
Yep. It was not awkward at all.
Awkward at all.
But yeah, make sure to check out his channel. Like, I'll put the link in the description box below. He makes movie reviews, semi-regularly.
Semi-regularly.
Yep. So yeah, he's cool. So check out his channel. And I will see you guys soon.